Hello, welcome to Thought of the Day with Bailey, where we are exploring this question of what does following Jesus amongst the pandemic of the coronavirus look like. For most of us, our schedules and routines have been totally thrown off for the past few weeks, and we don't really know when they're gonna get to come back to normal. But does the way of Jesus have anything to offer us in schedules or routines or habits? Well, it actually does. It's called a rule of life. And it's something that I have learned about a year ago now and have been trying to develop. But now, in this season, I'm having to develop a new rule of life. So, what is it? Well, you might be thinking it's like the golden rule, like the most important rule in your life is to. Actually, I forgot the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. Yeah. Or maybe you're thinking it's a list of rules like you get in school of things you can and can't do. Well, a rule of life isn't really either of those things. A rule of life is more like a schedule. It's a set of daily, weekly, monthly, possibly yearly rhythms and routines and habits you want to set in your life so that you can achieve your goals. The best analogy I have heard to explain what a rule of life is a trellis. So a trellis is this gridded frame that helps support viney plants to grow as high and as far out as they possibly can. And they definitely grow much more than they could have if they were just left on their own. But a trellis itself is not the plant and it's not actual growth. See, a rule of life are habits that we're committing to so that we experience spiritual growth, so that we experience God's love and we abide in it. The rule of life itself, the structure or schedule itself, is not God's love, but it puts us in places to experience it. It's no secret, we are all easily distracted creatures. And we know that we want to abide in Jesus, but sometimes we forget or get distracted or get sidetracked. And so it's really helpful to have this anchor point that's going to bring us back into abiding with Jesus. It's kind of what James talks about when he says faith without works is dead. See, to follow Jesus, you don't have to do X, Y, and Z every single day. That's not what I'm saying. But to follow Jesus, you actually have to follow Jesus. It's not just something you want to do, but it's something you actually have to do. See, the reality is our habits form and shape who we are. And if you're like me, whenever you heard that, you kind of just rolled your eyes and you're pretty skeptical. But think about it. The person I want to be is not the reality of me. That's not actually who I am. It's who I hope to become, but just hoping to become somebody doesn't make me that person. For example, I have wanted to start writing more. I've said this to people, I've thought about it a lot, but have I started writing more? Not really. If I get really overwhelmed, it's kind of a thing I'll do to calm myself down, or whenever somebody asks me to write something, I will. But I wanted to write more because I wanted to become a better writer, but I'm not actually writing, so I'm not a better writer. I can want to do something so bad, but that doesn't make me that person. That's not reality. That's a fantasy. So, I'm not trying to be legalistic, and I'm not going to tell you what your rule of life has to be. But I will tell you to steward this time that we have as best as possible. Having a rule of life is so incredibly helpful. Having practices that we commit to that help to remind us, to bring us back to Jesus and to do things that he did, to form intentional habits is how we're going to actually successfully follow him. Now, what are possible practices? Well, our mutual friend Blake actually wrote an article about this earlier this week. So I'm just going to link that below and let you read that. And he offers 7 practices for us to do. Now, your rule of life could look very different from my rule of life. And you could use those 7 practices, or you could have your own. Really, the possibilities are endless. You simply just have to ask the question, what could you be doing in this season as anchor points to bring you back to Jesus and to help you love the world the way he did? What are regular habits and routines that you can commit to? And then comment below practices that you're going to include and integrate into your rule of life. Your rule of life will be different from mine, but it's so encouraging to see other people on the same journey of trying to figure out how are they going to follow Jesus in this season. And so we, as the body and as a community, can help each other develop our rules of life. Alright, well, I love you guys, and I hope you enjoy the article, and I look forward to reading all of your comments, and I'll talk to you Tuesday. Bye.